तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमहायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Now we have seen Atma, we have seen the subtle body as such, and just a minute. And now we are looking into the various aspects of the subtle body which I am not. I am distinct from the gross body we have seen already. Well, I am giving you meditations, and I will continue to give also some meditations pertaining to I am not the physical body. That those things will be there, but right now we are concentrating on I am not the subtle body. In that I am not the sense organs, I am not the mind, I am not the prana, etc., etc. And few meditations we have noted also. Now today I will just cover I am not the mind in terms of it. I mean the theory, so-called theory, and then I will give you the meditations pertaining to sense organs. I am not the sense organs, I am not the mind, etc. also. Today I will cover that. So how will I know that I am not the mind? Of course we have seen all this thing, we are just revising all part. How will I know that I am distinct from the subtle body? Because the definition says Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktah. I am distinct from even subtle body, and in that sense organs, etc. we have covered the function, malfunctions, non-functions, everything of the sense organ and of the prana, etc. Well, it is they are evident to me, and if I am not there, they will not be evident. But there is no question of that I won't be there, because I am a self-evident, self-existent, and therefore I used to reveal myself continuously. And the objects in the world, it may be a gross body, it may be a subtle body, it may be prana, everything, and the outer world also, everything reveals to me. And definitely one thing is very certain in my mind: what is evident to me is not me. That baseline never forget. That's my earnest request to you. It is very, very simple for you, in as much as I am not the clip, I have not to tell at all. You feel that it is a futile statement. But when it comes to body, somehow means because of ignorance. And you take ultimately body which is evident to you. In fact, anything compared to this body is more evident to you. You can say 20 sentences for this, but for your body you can write the whole book. I am telling you, you can write the whole book. 500 pages you can write. So such a distinct object of knowledge for you, but somehow you have taken it as, because of Karana Sharira, we are going to discuss that. So avidya, because of ignorance, well, I take the body, and that's the cause of the problem. The cause is, once you take the body as yourself, there will never be a self-approval. There will never be a self-approval. Because the self as such you are not able to see. Self is limitless, but you are not able to see. And therefore you always see, you cannot see more than limitless, definitely. You are limitless, that's your nature. But you do a mistake against this self, which is limitless. The mistake will never be in terms of a more. More limitless you won't be see. Because what is not more is limitless. And therefore, ultimately you will see yourself limited being, which is not your nature. So you will not approve yourself. And so you look into the world for approval. And even if people approve you, still you will not approve yourself. You may feel this person, he doesn't know really me. And that's how he takes me other than what really I am about. And therefore, even though others tell that you are very good, Swami, you are very good, but still I say, no, it is not true. So somehow I won't approve myself. Approval comes when I take self as a self, and that approval comes. It is coming. It's a matter of your experience that you see yourself as a limitless and you approve yourself. In the self-approvals, there is a complete self-acceptance. Complete. And self-approval is nothing but self-acceptance. And in moments of joy, definitely you accept totally. With the same limitations which you were feeling earlier. In the same body's limitations are there, mind's limitations are there, and all senses limitations are there. Well, those limitations you were looking upon on the center of self, but ultimately, in a moment of joy, those limitations get dropped, and you see yourself a limitless. That's your experience. You see yourself you experience yourself as a limitless, and there is a total self-approval. In the moment of joy, you don't need anybody's approval. You don't need anybody's approval. And therefore, basically that must be by nature. And I'm not talking, I won't give you an example of a deep sleep, because there is no question of self-approval or self-non-approval. Because deep sleep state, in a certain aspect it is okay. We should not, as Pujya Swami used to tell, we should talk much more about a waking state, which is a direct experience, is a state of an experience for us. And in those experience has to be analyzed more than the state of experience called deep sleep. And therefore, basically, I must be a limitless thing. That's my nature. That's a matter of experience. And but because of these limitations pertaining to the subtle body, gross body also we have seen, and therefore I feel that I am a limited being. Well, that's a mistake against the self which is limitless. And so we are trying to make again this confusion regarding the self we are trying to remove. And we have to continue to do this also in meditations also. So regarding the mind now, so after the sense organs we have, of course we have told them as an anatma, non-self. Now the mind is remained. How to negate mind as a self? Well, when we basically when we see a flower, because ultimately sense organ has been talked about. So when you see a flower, definitely what happens? So you will tell that the eyes see the flower. But then something happens in the mind. If nothing happens in the mind, you won't see the flower. That's your experience also. If nothing happens, well, then according to your eyes see a flower, but according change, if it doesn't happen in the mind, you really don't see the flower. So something happens in the mind, and whatever is happening in the mind, we call it as a thought, vritti. That's all it is. Otherwise, if there is no thought, you will not understand whether there is mind or not. So always in a waking state, one or other thought is there, one or other modification will be there, some change will be there, something happens in the mind, and that is how you are able to notice the mind. Otherwise, if there is no thought, you will not be able to notice the mind at all. And therefore, and how it happens that when your eyes see the flower, and accordingly some change happens in the mind, but how this has happened and how this flower is seen, we are not going into that area. That is not our area. But only we are interested in that a change has to take place in the mind when the sense organ contact a respective object. And the change is here in terms of keeping with the sight. Well, when you talk about the eyes, then the change will be always in keeping with the sight. And the sight is nothing but the eyes bring a certain data of the world. in terms of a flower. Well, and the color of the flower, etc., etc. So the information gathered by the eyes, we call it as a sight, and that data is converted in the form of a thought, a relevant change in the mind. And there is necessity for this mental change. Vritti apeksha is there. Vritti apeksha is there, and for sight to occur. And so this modification of the mind, which is required for every cognition, the flower cognition, sound cognition, for any cognition, a relevant change has to occur. Because for cognition, the one aspect is a thought, other aspect is a lighting the thought. The light is always there. The Atma is always there. So there is no problem. That's not a problem. Light is always there, but a relevant change has to occur. And then thought plus the consciousness always becomes a cognition. So a change keeps on occurring, and that's how the cognition also varies. And now in this, we'll see one possibility that let us look at it a little differently now. Suppose you do not require a relevant change, mental change, in order to see an object. Let us say that. Then what would happen? It is not happening, but just think of a relevant mental change doesn't occur when the eyes contact you or a clip or a flower. If it doesn't occur at the level of mind, what will happen? You see everything at a time, or you don't see anything. Either this thing is possible. Either of these things is possible. Why? Because you see, if relevant change doesn't occur, then definitely that particular cognition doesn't occur. If particular cognition doesn't occur because it is not required, means you have all the cognition, sound cognition, all the sounds cognition, all the forms cognition, everything will be there at a time, just as in the case of Ishvara. Ishvara has all the cognitions at a time. That's how he is called Sarvagnya. We are Alpagnya because one particular modification of the thought occurs, one particular change occurs in the mind, and I throw the light and I will know, yeah, this is flower. Then another change occurs in the mind, then again I will throw the light on that thought and I will say clip is there. Then another something, a pen is there, etc. So you get a cognition one by one, and that is the sign of a Alpagnya. That is a sign of Alpagnya. You cannot know everything at a time. And therefore, in case of Ishvara and in case of a Jiva, this is the difference. Ishvara has a Upadhi. His Upadhi is a Maya, and that is how, since it is a Samashti Upadhi, he is able to, he is a consciousness and he reflects entire Maya. And that's how Samashti, he reflects into entire Maya in the Samashti, and so he knows the entire universe at a time. Well, we have a simple Antakaranam in which a relevant change has to occur, and that relevant change is lighted upon, is illumined by the consciousness that is me. And that is how a cognition, one after the other, occurs. And suppose that part is not there, suppose still a relevant change doesn't occur, you won't know anything. Right now I am knowing you. Here in my screen there are all the people, all these 20 people are there, and at one time I am knowing someone else, and at other point someone else, and the third point someone else. So that relevant change is occurring. Well, that is my experience. If relevant change in the mind doesn't occur, then no cognition will take place. Either all cognition or no cognition. All cognition is not my experience. No cognition is not my experience. I have an experience that I have varieties of cognitions. Variety of cognitions in which one factor is invariable, that is consciousness, which illumines the thought is invariable. Then what is the responsible factor in variety of the cognition? And that is the thought. That is the thought. A relevant thought occurs or relevant change takes place. Something happens. They call something happens in the mind. And that is nothing but, a relevant change happens. And that is how a mind assumes a particular change. And in that change, whatever is perceived, well, you know it is exactly the object that is there. Any object, it may be a sound, it may be a form, it may be a taste, anything. So for every perception, there is a change in the mind. Why we are talking about that? Because as a consciousness, you know very well that such a change takes place in your mind. That's all it means. Such a change takes place in your mind. You cannot deny that. That's your experience. That is such a change takes place. And that's how sometimes you don't want a particular change in your mind, and that's how you avoid certain situations also. And therefore, so for every perception there is a change in the mind relevant to the object of perception, and that change in mind is seen by me. That's all we are interested in this. The changed mind is seen by me, or the changes in the mind is seen by me. And well, in fact, what we generally see all the time is a change takes place in our mind, in our perception. Generally, what we see is generally what takes place in the mind, that only we see. So whatever form the mind assumes, that is what we see. And now in that there is a little part we have to see. See, what happens is it is when there is a pearl of a shell of pearl is there on the seashore, and you see a silver, right? So you see a silver. Well, you see, Swamiji, that's correct. And therefore, I am seeing the silver, and therefore, definitely, whatever mind assumes a change, that only I see. Well, that's correct. But the question is, why you see only a silver and not an elephant? So, because the outside object resembles the silver. And therefore, you should say, I am seeing something outside also. Correct. You are seeing something outside, and on that there is a projection by the mind, and ultimately you see what is projected. That's correct. That's correct. We should not say I am seeing only what my mind sees. No. We definitely, because we also indicate, well, like two people are talking, just a minute, somebody had come. When you let's say we both of you talk about somebody, we both all people are there, but anyway we talk about some person, and I indicate like this person is like something. When I say this person and I am putting my finger, then definitely my eyes are seeing definitely outside an object, but ultimately what I talk about an person also has a component of a mind, right? And ultimately your conclusion about the person, that only you see, and therefore don't say that I am just seeing what is inside. Definitely I am seeing in outside also. And now even in terms of rope snake also it is there. This is snake. When this is you are telling clearly, then definitely you are seeing outside also. But what is seen outside, if you are seeing really also in the mind, well, you are a most objective person in the world. You are most objective person. But what the object is, you add a subjective element that is pervaded, that is there in your mind, and that is how ultimately the vision becomes a subjective vision. But anyway, so whatever it is, a relevant change occurs in the mind, and that is what you all the time notice. So whatever occurs in your thought is what you are going to say that you see. So now what do we understand from this? All the time what you come across is only what is happening in your mind, definitely. And so you encounter the world only through the counter of the mind, definitely. And if mind, that counter is not there, there is no encounter of the world. If the counter is absent, there is no encounter. So definitely you need a counter. Through the counter you contact the world, and definitely the counter has, so ultimately you are the one who definitely knows what is happening in that counter. What is the relevant change occurring in the mind, you note it. So mind undergoes a change called a vritti, and therefore there will be a pot thought or a pot vritti for flower thought. And so you are the knower, the witness of these vrittis. In fact, you talk about these vrittis also, that a particular thought, Swamiji, doesn't go from my mind. So that shows that you know very well. A particular thing doesn't occur in my mind. That also you are able to say. So you are basically seeing a particular, absence of a particular thought or presence of a particular thought. The particular thought sticks to your mind also. It doesn't stick, but the same thought occurs. This is basically, you have to assume that you are like a water, and this, all the thoughts are waves. All the thoughts are waves and you are water. That's how it is. Why, Swamiji, why what? I'm like water. Why don't you say that I am a witness of the wave, like standing on the seashore? Why can't you say that? No. There is no dissociation here. Please understand that. Ultimately, whatever thought occurs, the existence of the thought is provided by you. And the consciousness or the illumining of the thought also is provided by you. Thought illumines because consciousness is there. Thought is because the self-existent Atma is there. This Satchit Ananda Atma alone provides the existence and consciousness. The thought is conscious, definitely. That's how it becomes a cognition. It's a simple thought which is very inert. It's a part of the mind. Mind is made up of subtle elements and therefore it should be inert. But it is, no thought is without, every thought becomes a cognition. And therefore it becomes a cognition. The thought must be a conscious thought. Yeah, it is a conscious thought. And therefore we say, definitely you go via reflection in the thought, etc., whatever. But I am coming to the point now. Ultimately, from reflection, I have to come back again to the original. Why? Let's drop this prakriya right now. So I am the one because of which the thought is, because of whom the thought is, and I am the one because of whom the thought is conscious. And therefore, that is non-separate from me. That's how I give you an example of a thought is like a wave and you are like a water. You are all pervading, like the ocean in which the water is all pervading and thousands of thought occurs. And sometimes, that is how we have to see this way. Otherwise, I am not the thought, I am not the thought. And if the thought has the reality, like you have a reality, well, Pujya Swamiji calls it as a dissociation, and that dissociation doesn't help. It doesn't help too long. That's how Nirvana Shatakam, Pujya Swamiji was having some reservation. Well, of course, because of this, I am not that, I am not that, I am not that. Well, I am that. I am everything then. Ultimately, you have to cover everything. So that is how you, otherwise this dissociation business will not. That's how there are some kind of meditations prevalent right now in the world. Well, and they always say, well, you are not the thought, you are just a witness of thought, you are witness of the thought. And Pujya Swamiji's belief, and I also agree with that, that ultimately it makes your mind dull. I am not this, I am not this. Ultimately, because mind is meant to think. Mind is meant to think. If it doesn't think, it is going to become a dull. And therefore, better understand that don't give reality to the thought. That's the main thing. And therefore, if it is there, let it be there. Even Pujya Swamiji says in chapter 16, you can refer, and some other place, Vidyaranya refers in Panchadashi, even for the mumukshu, let the mind be there, whatever it is. Don't change. Pujya Swamiji says that after decorating your dustbin thoroughly, very nicely, you are going to throw everything out. Why you bother about? Why do you bother about too much? Today itself in chapter 16 I was teaching, Swamiji very clearly showed this. Prakashancha pravuttincha mohamevacha pandava. If you want to refer, you can go to Bhagavad Gita home study course and you will see what Swamiji has said. Not the Jnani knows that this is all gunas guna. Even Swamiji says mumukshu also has to drop these efforts to check all the time, try to bring a change in the mind. And why do Swamiji? But you are so excited because everyone talks about moksha in terms of mind. In terms of mind. Swamiji, I know everything. I have studied Upanishad, I have studied Brahma Sutra, I have studied Bhagavad Gita, I have studied Swamiji everything. With Bhashyam also, with Tikas also, like that they do. And then they say, but Swamiji, this raga dveshas do not go. It has ultimately come down to the level of mind. So this is very important. Let the mind be there, whatever it is. Please try to see, I am the one who provide the very existence to the mind, existence to the thought, and the illumination to the thought or the mind. That's the final answer. That's the final answer. Ultimately, Satyamithya, if it doesn't come, the dissociation is going to come. If Satyamithya is the only thing which provides a final solution for everything. The thought is Mithya, I am Satyam. Mind is Mithya, I am Satyam. That's the one which is the final answer. Anything which remains real in your head will bother you, not today, tomorrow. Anything which remains real is going to bother you. However you negate, you may be able to negate for few seconds or few minutes or few hours. I don't think few hours also, but still let's believe. If it is real, it is going to haunt you. Definitely it is going to haunt you. And so base thing is, whatever the mind is there, never talk to anybody, never evaluate yourself, never judge yourself in terms of the mind. Swamiji, these things are there. Raga dveshas do not go. I think I have heard almost 1,000, 2,000 times till today. Thousands of times. Everybody, so very senior people, very senior. Always they talk moksha in terms of their cleaning of the mind. Well, which is not a real at all. The moksha is something to be understood in terms of what is real and what is not real. That's all it means. You are the reality in the creation and everything else is a projection. It's just a projection. Well, that's a final answer for us. Anyway, so I am the knower and or the witness of all the vrittis, basically. And don't try to even imagine this point also I would like to tell you. No, don't try to imagine that you are a witness. Some people, when I talk about a witness, they become very tight and I am a witness of the right side and I am witness of the left side and witness. No, nothing. You are witness by nature. Even if you don't do this, you are a witness. You are just a witness because nothing else is there other than you. And therefore, whatever is there is a projected thing. Water is by nature is a witness of all the waves. Take it that way. If you don't like example, you can drop it. But this is how I can see. Not as the person standing on the seashore. Don't think that way. Oh, he is a witness of all the waves in the ocean. I don't think that will work much. I am like water. Whatever kind of waves are there, it may be, there are different types of waves, etc. And still, the water is basically water. Everything other than that is just a mithya. It is all born of Maya, and I am the one who is witness. But Swamiji, if this clarity doesn't come, what should I do? Keep repeating that. Instead of Om Namah Shivaya, please repeat it. Please repeat it. I am telling you once again. Please repeat that I am witness. Just repeat. What is going to happen then? But Swami, something is going to happen. But repeat this. I am telling you. And if you want to refer, you can refer chapter 9 of a Panchadashi. Well, Vidyaranya has, in a Dhyanadip Prakranam, Vidyaranya has told that because some obstruction is there in you and therefore you are not able to accept the fact that no, I can't be the witness of everything and everything is mithya. No, I can't accept that. Well, there is some obstruction. To remove the obstruction, this is the upasana has been described, called Nirgun Brahma Upasana. Well, upasana cannot be done of a Nirgun Brahma, but this has been told like this in chapter 9 of a Panchadashi by Vidyaranya Swami. That is just by the way for your... So please repeat. Even if you don't find, you cannot appreciate these words in terms of its meaning, don't worry about it. Repeat. Just that I am a witness of everything. I am not the mind. I am witness of emotions. I am witness of memory. I am witness of perception. I am witness of even without senses. Because I have witness perception is also there. Dukkam, Sukham, etc. Time, space, everything is not perceived by the senses. The perception minus senses That kind of a perception, well, your pain in your stomach, pain in your back, or pain in your knee, everything is not perceived by the senses. All this perception, which is called witness perception, in which definitely I am a witness. Witness perception means what? The whole perception is, it's I am a witness of that perception. Or even through the senses, whatever the perception is there, basically I am the witness. I'm a witness of emotions, witness of cognitions, witness of memory, witness of all mental activities. And the one who is conscious of all these mental activities is I. Well, that I, without any without any help of any means of knowledge, is self-revealing. I mean, is evident, and that is I. I am self-evident, self-revealing, other than everything, which definitely requires some means of perception or some means of knowledge. Well, they are all evident to me. I am self-evident. This kind of a understanding is required. And then now let's go to meditations. I'm going to give you the words of meditation. First, I will give you regarding I think sense organs. There are few things I should tell you, so you can note it down. The first meditation I am going to give is regarding sense organs. I am not the sense organs. And when that particular meditation will be over, I will say just Om, and I will pause for some time, so that some people are following in this, going to YouTube and doing that, or so etc. So maybe listening to this particular talk, etc. Then they may follow the meditation. So I may, between two meditations, I will keep a pause and say Om also. Now this is regarding I am not sense organs. Mentally, open your right eye. Mentally, open your right eye. See the opened eye. See the opened eye. See, with the help of the eye, which is thus opened mentally, a banyan tree. See a banyan tree. See the leaves. The olive green leaves. See the branches. See the trunk. See the adventitious roots that flow down from the branches. Mentally, visually, you see it. Not just imagination. Mentally, clearly you see it. The eye is open. The right eye is open mentally. See your body. the dress, the hands, the legs. See the body. See the body as it is. See the distance between this body and the banyan tree. You saw the banyan tree standing somewhere. Your body is therefore near the tree. Somewhere near the tree. To see the branches, leaves, the roots, the body must be somewhere near the tree. See the distance between the body and the tree. I am conscious of the tree. I am conscious of the body. I am conscious of the distance between the tree and the body. In the eye, the opened right eye, mentally, I am consciousness. In the eye, I am consciousness. Through the eye, I see the tree. The body. In that eye, I am consciousness. See the eye mentally. In the eye, I am consciousness. I am consciousness. Behind the eye, I am consciousness. Behind the eye, I am consciousness. In the eye, now open the left eye mentally. Open the left eye. I am consciousness. In the left eye, I am consciousness. Behind the left eye, both the eyes, left and right, I am consciousness. Behind, now I am consciousness. In the ears, I am consciousness. In the ears, I am consciousness. In the right ear, in the left ear, I am consciousness. In the left ear, I am consciousness. In the right ear, in the ears, I am consciousness. Behind the ears, I am consciousness. Think of a rose, a fragrant rose. You put the rose right in front of your nose, mentally. You get the smell. I smell the rose with the help of nostrils. I smell the rose. I am consciousness. In the sense of smell, I am the consciousness. In the sense of smell, behind the sense of smell, I am consciousness. Put on your tongue. Put on your tongue a crystal of sugar mentally. I taste sugar. I am conscious of the taste of sugar. I am consciousness in the tongue. In every taste bud on my tongue, I am consciousness. At the tip of my finger, which touches the flower petal, I am consciousness. Behind the sense of touch, I am consciousness. In the eyes, consciousness am I. In the ears, consciousness am I? In the sense of smell, I, consciousness. In the sense of taste, I, consciousness. In the sense of touch, I, consciousness. I am consciousness in all these sense organs. I am consciousness. The same consciousness behind eyes, behind ears, the same consciousness behind the sense of touch is behind the sense of taste. I am the consciousness behind all sense organs. I am not sense organs. I am distinct from all sense organs. That consciousness is I. That consciousness is I. Consciousness is I. Formless consciousness, I. Silence consciousness, I. I. Self-revealing consciousness, I. Formless, I. 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 O. Now we'll see object and object of object and awareness. In general, we'll see that. Think of a banyan tree. A banyan tree. I see a banyan tree mentally. I am aware of the banyan tree. I am not banyan tree. I am conscious of the tree. The tree is in my consciousness. I am conscious of the tree. The tree is in consciousness. I. Imagine the leaf. Every leaf in the tree I am conscious of. This leaf I am conscious of. is in consciousness. I. The other leaf. The other leaf is in consciousness. I. All the leaves in the tree. I am conscious of. They are in consciousness. I. Keep on seeing the truth of this. All the leaves of the tree are in consciousness. I. I see this branch. I am conscious of the branch. Branch is in consciousness. I. Every other branch is so. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them are in consciousness. I. I see a root. The roots coming down from the branch, tender at the end. See clearly, mentally, every root I am conscious of. They are in consciousness. I. I see the huge trunk of the tree. The trunk of the tree. I am conscious of the trunk of the tree. The trunk is in consciousness. I. I see the whole tree in one sweeping vision. I see the whole tree. It is in consciousness. I. Now I see a banyan tree. It is in consciousness. I. The consciousness is in and through every leaf, in and through this leaf. The consciousness is in and through every leaf. The consciousness is in the space above the leaf. Consciousness is in the space below the leaf. I, consciousness, is all over the leaf. It is in and through the leaf. The leaf gone. Consciousness is. Leaf gone. Consciousness is. Branch gone. Consciousness is. Branch gone. Consciousness is. Roots gone. Consciousness is. Roots gone, consciousness is. Trunk gone, consciousness is. Trunk gone, consciousness is. Whole tree gone, consciousness is. Whole tree gone, consciousness is. Consciousness is all the time, is. Consciousness is. Consciousness gone, I can't say. Consciousness is. I, consciousness is. I, consciousness is. I am self-existent. I, formless. Consciousness is. I, formless. Consciousness is. Consciousness, I, is. Consciousness, I, is. O. Now, mind and consciousness. Perhaps, yeah. In the light of the sun, I see an object outside. In the light of the sun, during the day, I see objects outside. In darkness, even though the objects are there, the eyes are open. I don't see the objects. During the day, when the objects reflect the light of the sun, I am able to see them. In the light of the sun, the objects are seen. The sun itself is seen by me. With the light of the sun, if I see the objects, the sun itself is seen by me. With what light? The light of my eyes. The light in my eyes. With the consciousness is in my eyes. I see the sun, the bright sun. When the eyes are closed, still I am able to see the sun and the objects. with the eyes in my mind. Think of the sun, the bright sun. Think of a tree. Think of a cow. Think of ocean. Think of bird. I see all this even though my eyes are closed. With what light I see these images in my mind? With what light do I see the sun, the tree, the cow, the ocean? With what light do I see the image of sun? As a thought in my mind, the image of the tree, as a thought in my mind, the image of a cow, as a thought in my mind, the image of ocean, is illumined by consciousness. I, formless consciousness, illumines all images. I, consciousness, illumines all thoughts. I illumine all thoughts. I am not a thought. I illumine all thoughts. I, consciousness. I, consciousness. Silence, consciousness. Formless, consciousness. I. Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.